Are moms a good candidate for a career in social media or digital marketing? Let's dive right in. Aloha, welcome back. Again, I'm Aya, and I am the lead instructor here at socialmediamavenacademy.com. And I wanted to go over another highly requested question that I received from a poll I put out over on Instagram a little while back. So if you aren't following, you can go ahead and follow us over there if you'd like to be on Instagram, to kind of keep in touch. And a question I got was, are moms, or if you're a mom, or if you have children, you're like a primary homemaker, and you primarily, work in the home, but you are looking to perhaps bring in some additional revenue to help out the family. Maybe, just have, some other aspirations and stuff you'd like to explore. And you're looking at, some other avenues to bring in, a sizable nice amount of income that won't take up too much of your time, because obviously your priority, being your home and your children, as well as, of course, your husband, your spouse, of course, your whole home. You just might be looking for other avenues to add additional income that you don't have to like physically drive somewhere and be worried about, like, the cumbersome things of just like logistics of childcare and daycare and just all that stuff. So the question is, of course, the question is yes, YES. You can definitely soar and thrive if you are a mom and you're looking to work part-time or just on a per project basis, and you have a skill set in the digital marketing or social media marketing space. So it is definitely yes across the board for the answer. Now, I want to dive into a couple key things here that I feel like a lot of moms discount themselves about. They have a lot of just from like the initial conversations that I've had from like past and like even current enrollments of students that are also moms, because I am a mom. And I wanted to go over a couple things. I wrote some notes down because I wanted to go over a couple things to dispel a couple myths about being a mom, but still being valued in the workplace. Let's go over some of the qualities that you as a mommy have. First being supervision. You have an impeccable way to completely man the station, I guess, if you will, or man the fort. So while husband's gone out working, you're home, you are doing a ton of supervision. You are ensuring that the tiny humans that you carried in your womb and birthed stay alive, they stay clean, they stay fed, they stay, emotionally sound. If they have other extracurricular activities, play dates, just navigating like day-to-day stuff. It's even like having like your calendar up, or like with my daughter, I have like a calendar where it's like brush your teeth, wash your face. We do hair wash days on certain days of the week. If it's like nail day, I make sure like that's on the calendar. If we go to the nail salon, that's our nail day for the nail salon, but we also have a nail day at home. We also have like her educational stuff, because I am a homeschooler, so I have like all of her educational things planned out. And then I also have like extracurriculars, because she wants to do a couple more things this summer into the fall and winter. Sherry told me a whole list of stuff she wants to do, so I'm like, okay. And I'm saying all that to say is it takes a super innovative mind and an organized mind to maintain all of that supervision of laying the lay of the land in terms of keeping everybody healthy, well, and alive, and then also the structure of a schedule, not to mention supervising yourself, which a lot of moms don't give ourselves credit for. So I'm going to say doing all of that is a super valuable skill set that is easily transferable over to the social media marketing, digital marketing space. Second being communication. As a mom, you're communicating all day, every day, 24/7. If not even like just in your head about trying to remember all the stuff that you probably forgot last week. It's funny, my daughter and I were out at the pool last week, and we had a little mini play date with a couple other moms, and they were leaving earlier than us because, of course, she always wants to stay in the pool because she's a water baby. And one of the moms had left her backpack behind. I didn't notice it at the time because, I was like all eyes on children around water, of course. But I just glanced back and I saw that she had left her backpack. And at first I didn't really know if it was hers because I thought I saw someone else there before, so I wasn't sure. But then of course I asked just to make sure because they were leaving, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you." Because that's my whole life in that backpack. So I'm saying that to say is communicating and maintaining effective communication with each other in terms of you and your spouse, as well as your children. So that way, like, there's something going on, if there's not like emergency stuff, just like day-to-day stuff, like if there's a birthday party like on Saturday, for instance, like communicating that in advance so that way everyone knows what's going on Saturday at 2 o'clock, because we're preparing, and what all needs to go into that. Do we have to go buy a birthday present? Do we need to go prepare a meal because we're going to bring some food over? Are we going to buy the food? Are we going to bring plates or napkins, like whatever else may be required? You're preparing just for that or that one event, and that takes extreme communication. That's not even day-to-day communication. Day-to-day communication is the constant reminders of, like, put your plate into the dishwasher, or make sure you go wash your hands before you go to do the next activity because you just came in from outside. Or even things like brush your teeth. Like, I have to constantly remind my daughter to brush her teeth after she eats, because of course she just wants to go off and run around. I'm like, no, brush your teeth after you eat. That's communication, like, and you're constantly communicating as a mom, and that is going to carry you far, because if anything, it's great to have a really effective communicator in the social digital space, because you're going to be communicating not only with your team, you're going to be communicating with your audience members. So again, if you're using an example career, like if you're a copywriter, for instance, or even if you create videos like this is communication. So if you're writing it in the written form, or if you're speaking it, communication is always going to carry you far, because communication is how we transfer messaging, is how we connect, it's how we form bonds, it's how we come closer together, it's how we get to know one another. So if you're interested in learning more about the top five high paid skills in social media digital marketing, go ahead and click the little circle in either of these corners, and I'll take you to that video next. So yeah, communication, super important, and very, very, very much a necessary skill set that you already have in your arsenal being a mommy. Third is management. And I feel like this is kind of like an overall encompassing of the other skills I said before, but I really wanted to hone in on it because, again, I don't think a lot of moms give themselves enough credit. And you are managing an entire household from top to bottom. Like, there's not one little thing that comes or in out of your home that you somehow, some way don't have to interact, touch, assess, evaluate, and ensure that it needs to be there, because safety reasons, health reasons, personal preferences and aversions, just aesthetics. I mean, I guess if you were to go and you're redesigning your kitchen, obviously you're going to be very much involved in that. So that's management, and that's just like house management, like household stuff. Now, children management, managing their schedules, whether they're homeschool, hybrid, or they're back in person school, managing extracurricular activities and their schedules. So one is going here and one is going there. And you have one and she wants to bounce around to 10 different places. Managing, again, parties. I mentioned parties earlier, activities, extracurriculars. And then managing like the day-to-day stuff that they have to do, like for their own personal growth and well-being. So it's like, again, I mentioned hygiene, like ensuring that they're managing and learning proper hygiene. You're managing the management of that, managing organization of their room, managing organization of their school supplies, managing organization of their screen time. I could go on. My biggest thing here is, like, again, management skills. You have them, you possess them, you've always had them from the moment you probably found out that you were pregnant, because mommy brain kind of kicks in around that time that I found. And so management, definitely being in upper management type of positions in social media marketing, you are 10 times overqualified for, especially being a mommy. The next being is efficiency, and efficiency ties into a little bit of management, but I wanted to kind of hone in on like a little bit of the specifics of efficiency. For me is, for one, how are you managing something, but how efficient is it in terms of like what we actually are looking to do here? So for instance, I'm not going to plan us to do a hair wash day like I did this morning. I did deep condition and comb out last night for both of us. And I'm not going to plan a beach day today. I would have planned the beach day yesterday because I knew today we were going to deep condition and co-wash and comb our hair out. Like, that doesn't make sense. So that's not going to be efficient use of our time and energy and resources. And that just wouldn't make any sense. So it's little stuff like that you're probably not even thinking about because we just know how to do. Like, we just know like common sense, well, I guess for me, I'm just using my personal examples because that's just what I do. And I think a lot of moms probably do the same thing, but I'm bringing it to the forefront because I don't think, again, you're giving yourself enough credit. Getting our nails done. So we do go to the nail salon, and I'm not going to plan, again, like a park or a party or a beach day the day after or the day of. I typically would do it the day before, like the park, party, beach, because I know our toes are going to be sandy and, mud and dirt and running around playing. You don't want your nail polish to get scraped. So I'll do activities that I know are going to be more like physical or like intensive before. Then I'll plan our nail day around that and afterwards. And that way, the day of, like at least 2 to 3 days after, we're more in show mode. We don't really have too much activity going on. That way, our petties stay nice and pretty and nice and lovely for as long as we possibly can, which I try to do it like once or twice a month because I don't know. It's just like a nice feeling to pamper yourself. So things like that, thinking of how efficient you as a mom and in your mindset have to be 24/7, 365 darn near. And how that is a super high valuable skill set that transfers over once again to the social media digital marketing space. And finally, this one, I don't think it talks a lot about, but I'm going to say it here because it's been my own personal growth of where I have learned to place more value in and also spend more time cultivating within myself because I want my little girl to also have this within herself at an earlier age than when I got it, which is emotional intelligence. And as a mom, understanding the level of patience, compassion, kindness, and love and emotional intelligence, it's baked all kind of into like one. But if you don't have emotional intelligence and the discernment to, for one, calm down. And I love this quote. I don't know if it was by Janet Lansbury. I follow her work a lot too. About when a baby or a toddler or a small child, for one, their brains are underdeveloped until they're age 26, 27, somewhere around there. Even though they say girls mature faster than boys, that's all fine and dandy. But when it boils down to it, children's brains are not fully developed before age 26, 27. So having compassion and understanding that, for one, is major. That's a key component right there within emotional intelligence. If you understanding that my child is going to have tantrums or not going to understand how to regulate their emotions. Therefore, I need to share my calm, not join into their chaos. So that is right there is a huge component because when it comes to team building, unifying with team members, building company culture, solidifying company culture, seeing the things through, because it's kind of like, I was thinking about the movie Love Jones, where it's like the part where he was like, yeah, anybody could fall in love, but how do you stay there? Right. So it's kind of the same thing. It's like, yeah, we could all come together. We could form a team. We could create this great project. But if we can't stay together because there's so many interpersonal or personality things or little, people are nitpicking at each other and we can't even hold the team strong and like stay together, how are we going to see this through? Like, you don't get the could be without the commitment. So it all ties into emotional intelligence because these are key things that you as a mom are responsible for and that you're doing, and you probably don't even realize that you're doing it. And if you don't realize it now, I definitely want to highlight it for you to give yourself even more of a pat on the back than you deserve because of things like this, how the power of having a skill set of emotional intelligence is, for one, honed in the home first and foremost, I believe, and then transferring it over to the workforce because, again, you still are forming relationships with your coworkers, with your team members, as well as with your clients or, people in upper management. You're still having to maintain that level of even kill in terms of emotions because there's going to be stressful times that arise. There's going to be stressful deadlines. There's going to be clients that are asking for some insurmountable thing. And it's just like, wait a minute, didn't we just talk last week and we all agreed on this? And now you're switching it out and you're kind of pulling the rug from underneath us. You're going to have moments like that. And you're going to have to, again, maintain emotional intelligence so that way you can ensure that things don't go awry. People aren't jumping ship. People aren't fighting with each other and arguing and being combative or just being, having anxiety and fear run amok because, a little curveball got thrown your way. So the same things that you are teaching, not only yourself, of course, being a woman, and you imparting that wisdom to your children in terms of emotional intelligence, that skill set is highly valuable and highly, highly needed. I think it's coming more onto the forefront than it used to be. I know emotional intelligence is considered more of a soft skill, which is a good thing. I love soft skills. I actually have been focusing more on mastering my soft skills more than my hard skills these days. And then I also have a good friend of mine who's actually an emotional intelligence expert, and his tagline is emotional intelligence, the other kind of smart. So I am just going to say these quick things that I wrote out. I could probably go on forever, but yeah, I just really wanted to address this because I don't think a lot of moms give themselves credit. You are more than capable. You have always been more than capable to do whatever you want to do. You gave birth. And if anything, that is in and of itself probably one of the most powerful things that you can contribute to our society and our community, and by building up strong, amazing young tiny humans that are going to go out into the world. And so if you're doing that, you can definitely succeed in a career in social media and digital marketing. So if you'd like to know more, I encourage you all to watch the next video up here on this side, or it might be this side. I always feel like my camera messes me up because it's flipped, but of it, you're learning about if you actually can become a social media marketer or digital marketer with zero experience. And I will talk to you all next time.